Today is just a gorgeous day all around. All right, so after the findings in court yesterday with Mrs. as I call her, Miss DPP, I'm just strolling in the back of my house and having a great, fantastic day thus far. All right, so let's take a look at my fish and see if they're in a better mode or a better mood than DPP is in this morning. Here we go. Look at that giant. Ah, hello. Had to make a nice haven for them so that they could enjoy themselves. Well, so far as I can tell, they look like they're in a better mode than Miss DPP is. So just sitting here relaxing, and the thoughts just came to me, and I really think we need to address the whole situation of her and how this case has been handled to date from her end, and to some extent just basically take a look at what is her role in the courts and what happens when you get evidence that can possibly exonerate someone and it is not shared, and just in general what could possibly be the outcome of the whole situation, and the fact that she was not forthcoming and clear in her actions. Good day, peeps. It's your girl, Blessed Gaza Diva, and I hope you are having a pleasant day like I am having today. Now, today we're going to take a closer look at the DPP, as I call her, she. Now, it seems as if it's no longer a case of the state versus Vybz Kartel, but more the DPP versus our artist. And since they're taking it from that level, let us zone in on her and take it from this angle, where we're going to look at what is the function of a DPP, what is the definition of a DPP, what are their responsibilities within the court of law. Now, for those of you who may already understand this and know what it entails, please do skip forward. But for those of you who would like to hear more, please stick with me. The Director of Public Prosecutions is the office of official charged with the prosecution of criminal offenses in several criminal jurisdictions around the world. The title is used mainly in jurisdictions that are or have been members of the Commonwealth of Nations. We all know where Jamaica falls within that. Now to the role of the DPP. The DPP is the head of Jamaica's public prosecution services and is responsible for instituting, preparing and conducting serious criminal matters in the High Court, Supreme Court and County Court on behalf of the Crown. Now, on behalf of the Crown basically means the state, the country or wherever. Now, the long and short of it is this was a high case, high profile matter, so more than likely this is why she got involved with this case. So everything's so good so far, understandably so. So I don't want anybody to think that Paula Llewlyn has any dibby job, you know. She has the affairs of the government in hands, and she has the life of a man accused of a crime in her hands to manage. So she's supposed to work with the lawyers, and she's supposed to be giving the judge information, because in essence what her responsibility is, you know, she basically make sure that if there is a crime that is committed, right, she has a great deal of power. So she works with the police, she gathers information and evidence with the police, and she builds a case against the suspect. Then she takes that case into court, and she is charged with convicting and convincing a jury that the guilty person or suspect is definitely guilty. So in this case against our artist now, Paula Llewlyn is what you would call lock, stock and barrel, juror, lawyer and everything wrapped up into one, because she's working, and even though they say she's working with the police and the judge and lawyers and giving them information, she is basically running the show. Right? It is her responsibility also to seek justice and present the judge and the jurors with facts and legal arguments that results in the conviction of the guilty defendant. sometimes a lawyer or a prosecutor in her case, right, they find evidence that would tend to exonerate the person that the case is against. So say for example, in Vybz Kartel case, where the cell phone evidence was proving that Lizard was in St. Catherine at the time of the murder, also that Sean Storm was not in the chambers at the time of his conviction on bribery. The other evidence that came out yesterday that made me so mad, that the text message in Vybz Kartel's phone was created 6 weeks prior to the supposed or alleged death of Lizard. Once she is aware of all of this information, it is her responsibility to bring that information to the forefront. Oh, and how could I forget the bribery, which is what she is being charged for in this particular instance. The bribery of the jurors to come back with a guilty verdict. The minute that was found, she should have halted the case in that very minute. And based on what I am hearing and seeing out of the reports, the judge at the time, Lennox Lewis, I think it was, said to her, if you were to put a halt on the case based on the fact that bribery was involved, right? And Lennox Campbell, sorry, and he consulted with her, and she said continue the trial, right? And it's a $500,000 bribe. Well, it's not even about the amount, it is a bribe nonetheless. It could even be for $2. The minute that came to her attention, she should have urged rather the case to be halted, to be investigated and put on hold. But no, she's so heated and hot for Vybz Kartel to prosecute Vybz Kartel, so she doesn't even care. So let me give you an example, people. So say for example, if there is a case that is happening in court and my mother is supposedly killed by my father, and at the time, say I was 2 or 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. If that happens and they come to me for investigation and say, did you see your father kill your mother? And I, as a 5-year-old child, say to the prosecutor, this is Paula Llewlyn in this case, who is acting on behalf of the government, because the government is trying to prove me guilty, prove my dad guilty that he killed my mother. If I as a child said to him, no, I did not see my daddy do that. I saw a woman in a black suit with long hair running from the house with a bandana. She killed my mommy. There is no way under law that once that is in a report and the notes are taken during an interview, right, that is taken as law. So if I basically said daddy wasn't home and it is this person who hurt my mommy, then it is Paula's responsibility to take the evidence to the defense, even if it is going to hurt her case. So what I am getting from all of this now is the big bad Paula Llewlyn has built up this case, right? Her so-called reputation is on the line. Remember, she's the first woman DPP in Jamaica. So I am still taking that into context, and it's a woman that I held in high regard before this case, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it has to do with Vybz Kartel. It has everything to do with the fact that she has acted unethically in this case, because if it's even my greatest enemy that this was executed across or towards, it would be wrong. Wrong is wrong and right is right. Now, the minute you can't find a body, the cell phone evidence is wrong, you tampered with the man's phone, you sent messages from the man's phone, you are sentencing persons who are not in the presence of the sentencing taking effect. Everything in this case has been flawed from the get-go, right? So in all honesty, all that I'm seeing coming out of this, she is accountable, right? She is accountable and responsible to say in the court at the time of all those evidences being presented, to say, stop this case. Here is further information that we found. I know it's going to go against the case, but it is not right. So we will have to stop this case. So I don't know, based on what I know about litigation and mitigation, and I've said this over and over again, this don't even need to be a mistrial. She, Paula Llewlyn, whom is who happens to be the face and the focal point of all of this madness that is now happening in court. So many years I had to do without my artist because of this woman. Leave your comments below. If in the time that Vybz Kartel was away, how did you feel about it? Because I had sleepless nights, I had bad nights because of this woman, based on what is coming out now. Because in normal litigation and mitigation case, Paula Llewlyn at the time, if even only finding about the bribery, should have stopped this case. She knew about the cell phones being used as well. She should have stopped the case, right? They don't have a body. The case should have been stopped. And with this right now, that is her whole integrity is under scrutiny. You see, sometimes when we hype and we mighty, right, we get slammed right back, and she's now being slammed for her misconduct during the trial. Because the long and short of it, I want to see what is going to become of her behavior and how she handled this case. Because as far as I'm concerned, no, I'm not going to call it, because I'm being honest. Them wicked, the government, and she representing the government in this instance shows that they're wicked. Because if it is your responsibility to ensure that whom you're prosecuting to prove is guilty, you still have a responsibility to be clear, lucid, and fair and honest in your endeavors. And she was not able to do that. Then it needs to be thrown out. And I need you guys to listen to this little clip from her and let me see if this is not going to happen the way it should happen, because she said it from her very own lips. Take a listen, peeps.
I've always looked on that as one of the underpinnings of what it takes to be a prosecutor who must, not may, must act ethically at all times, and who has to have the sort of discipline when wielding great power, that even if you find yourself as a prosecutor in the jaws of a lion who wants to eat you, and you are able, by whatever means, to extricate yourself, the kind of integrity, mental toughness, and courage that you have to have, and self-discipline, dictates and obligates that the very next day you must be able to turn around and be fair and give that lion who almost ate you the day before justice.
Now I just want you to, as usual, have a discussion with me below in the comment section. How do you feel about the case so far? I know I've asked this question before, but hear what? I went through many years of stress and depression with my artist being away. And the time is coming, or appearing to come, where he could possibly walk free. But people, do not stop praying. Do not stop focusing on keeping him in your thoughts, and let us just stay close to this, because we still can't call it yet, because I've seen stranger things. But based on how the evidence is building up right now, and the appellant court, based on their feedback thus far about being as confused as we are and surprised as we are that she, Paula Llewlyn, allowed some of this evidence to come through and happen in court, then it sounds, as I said yesterday, that the right people now have the case in their hands, and in the near future we should see the right outcome. So leave your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button on this video. Do share and subscribe to the channel. Do have a good day, peeps.